This weekend, I had this idea while I was traveling back from the Pans that social media itself is not really all that social. It's social to an extent. So, this weekend, when I was coming back from the Pans, I'm going to the airport and I'm checking in my bags and everything like that. And I'm at the front desk, and there's this woman there, and she's checking our bags and stuff like that. And she's saying nice things to people, telling them to have a good day and all that stuff. But I can look at on her face and her body language by the way that her shoulders are slumped a little bit and kind of the dropping of the face, and I can see that she's just not having the best day. So when I get up there, I start cracking bad jokes, which I have really bad dad jokes, and I hand her my passport, and she opens up my passport, and my passport's really old. It's from like 2012, so I didn't have a beard, so I start cracking jokes about the beard thing, and by the end of our minute and a half, maybe 2 minute conversation, she's smiling a little bit, and visibly she's perked up a lot more, and so she said the same things to me that she said to everybody else, like have a nice day at the end of the conversation, but when I left the conversation, I could see that she had visibly perked up. Her body language had changed. And again, for me, that was kind of cool because, again, if you're in a true social situation, I exchange an idea or tell you something, and then I can see on you through your body language and everything else how you pick up on it, right? The mirror neurons in our bodies, what they think it is that the mirror neurons pick up on the way that people feel and what's going on, and that allows us to be empathetic, unless you're a complete narcissist. Another sort of situation that happened was I was on the plane for my first flight. As I'm getting on the plane, I'm boarding, and it was a situation where there's 3 seats on each side and there's an aisle in between. I'm sitting in an aisle seat, and then over across on the other side there was this young girl and young boy, probably around 5, 6, maybe 7. The young girl, I can see on her body, she's very tense and panicky, and she's kind of doing this. She keeps looking back at the seats behind her, and her eyes are kind of red and watery. It looks like she'd been crying or was getting ready to cry. And so I see her looking back, and I'm like, what is she looking back at? So I look back, and there's this older woman kind of doing this thing, like looking back at her to make contact. So obviously there's a connection, and I look at her, and by the way, I looked at everybody else around me. There's 15, 20 people in my direct line of sight, and everyone's just doing this, playing on their phone. So I look at the girl and I say, hey, is that your mother or something? And she looks at me, she goes, it's our grandmother. She tells me about how this is their first flight. Her and her brother are really nervous, and they were supposed to be together, but something with the flight got changed, and so the flight got moved, and when the flight got moved, instead of having 3 seats together, they have 2, and then she's back there, so they're not together anymore. So I was like, well, hold on a second. So I get up, I walk back to the grandmother, and I say, hey, would you like to sit with your grandkids? I'm right in the seat next to them. And so the grandmother looks at me, and she had that concerned look as well. As soon as I said, would you like to go sit with them and exchange seats, she gets up and she hugs me. The concerned look is gone, and I can feel from the hug, and I can see the way that she's walking. She's genuinely pretty happy at that point. And I come back to see the kids as I'm picking up my bags to take them back to the seat behind us. And I look at the kids, and they're smiling. Big smiles, man. They look like they're a lot happier and a lot more relaxed. And so again, I felt good about that. And I was just thinking about that because this weekend I met a lot of you guys at the Pans. It was really cool because, when I express ideas through social media, it's only social to an extent. I get to, receive the beautiful messages that you guys send and all the thanks that you guys send, which I really do appreciate. But I don't ever get to see it on you, not through the messages. I don't actually get to see the way that your body expresses when the message receives, or you receive the message. But this weekend when we're at the Pans, a lot of you guys were coming up to me, we're chatting, getting a hug, taking a picture, talking for a bit. And I could see the way that something impacted you by the way that your body is expressing itself. Like a lot of you guys would light up, like, oh man, dude, I watch your videos, and this one thing that you said, or, someone actually came up to me. I thought this was pretty cool. One of the guys had a bronze medal on, and he'd won several matches that day and, lost in the semis. But he, told me that the grip fighting videos that I did, he's like, dude, I totally used that one that you used to break the cross collar grip. It worked great. And I used it a bunch this weekend. And I thought that was really cool. Again, not just to throw something out there, but actually see it come back to fruition. So I thought that was really cool. You guys making some noise over there. So, I thought that was really cool because that social loop had been completed, and just something to think about. Again, social media is cool. I use it obviously, but it's only social to an extent. And we have this world around us that's not in our phones where we can actually be cool to people. I never understood that because the stewardess, by the way, when she came back to me, she told me that it was very nice of me. She offered me a beer or food or whatever I wanted. I told her I was fasting, so I didn't want anything. But she told me how people just don't do that normally. They don't exchange seats. And how the woman sitting next to the kids, she was in the other seat, she refused to do it, which again, she might have her reasons, but I just thought that was strange, because if I was a parent or a grandparent and I knew that my grandkids or kids were nervous, I would want to be with them. Likewise, if I was a kid and I was nervous, I would want to be with someone I feel safe. So it was weird to me that someone wasn't empathetic towards those people. And I think that empathy, a lot of times, it's just something we're lacking, and I don't know if it's through the social media stuff or what, but just there's this world around you. So every now and then, like, put down your phone and be willing to like look around you and see what you can do. And, you know, everybody, I've never talked to someone that's like, yeah, I don't want to make a positive impact on the people around me. And you can do it through small little exchanges just like that, and just make people's day just like a little bit better. You know, not crazy, just a little bit better, just with something that you do that comes from a genuine place, you know, trying to make someone else's day better, just as you would probably want someone to do the same for you. So just a random thought, guys, coming back from the pans. So that's the video, and guys, I'll talk to you next time.